Hello students, I hope all of you are doing really well. Today we will talk about computer languages. Which language do computer understand and how many types of languages are there of computer, obviously. Okay, so let's get started today's chapter, computer languages. Chapter profile, computer languages, types of computer languages and language processors. Okay, brain boosting, write down how to say welcome in the following languages. Means we have to write welcome in German, in French and in Spanish. Okay, we all know that to communicate with each other we need a language. Similarly, to communicate with a computer we need a computer language. A computer language consists of a set of words, symbols and codes that are used to write a computer program. So in this chapter we will learn about the computer languages. See, whenever we want to communicate with some other person, we need a language. Without language, how we gonna communicate? Similarly, a computer also needs a language. Okay, to communicate with a computer, we need a language, right? So in this chapter, we will learn about computer languages. Computer languages. A computer language is defined as a code or syntax which is used to write programs or any specific applications. It is used to communicate with computers. However, a computer cannot understand these languages directly. Therefore, special software programs have been developed to translate the programs written in other languages into machine language. Machine language uses binary digits 0 and 1, but it is difficult for the programmers to write their programs directly using these digits. Therefore, some other computer programs have been developed to make writing programs easier. Okay. What is computer language? Actually, we can define it as a code or syntax which is used to write programs. Okay. See, computer cannot understand languages directly, so some special software programs are there which translate program written in other languages into machine language. Okay, and machine language uses binary digit, that is 0 and 1, but it is difficult for a programmer to write programs directly using these digits because there is only two digits like 0 and 1. Okay, now types of computer languages. Broadly, the computer language can be classified into two types. One, low level language, two, high level language. Okay, see, high level language and low level language. Low level language is further classified into two categories, that is machine language and assembly language. And high level language is further classified into three categories: procedural language, non-procedural language and natural language. Okay, so first we learn about low level language. A low level language is a programming language that is closer to machine code with the computer's hardware can understand directly. It provides little or no abstraction from the hardware. Okay, so this kind of language, that is low level language, computer hardware can understand directly, right? Characteristics of low level language. Number one, direct control. They provide direct access to the computer's memory and hardware. Two, machine dependent. They work specifically on one type of computer or processor. Number three, hard to read. The code is difficult for humans to understand because it consists mostly of numbers or symbols. And number four, fast. They run very quickly because they are closely tied to the machine. Okay. And so what are the characteristics of low level language? Actually, first one is they directly provide access to the computer's memory. Okay. And hardware. And also they are machine dependent. But the code here is difficult for humans to understand because it consists mostly of numbers or like symbols. Okay, and they run very quickly, right? Low level languages are divided into two categories. One is machine language. Machine language is a low level language made up of binary numbers or bits, that is zeros and ones. Okay, so binary numbers consist only 0 and 1 that a computer can understand without any translation, right? Computer understands language of zeros and ones without any translation. So it is also called the first generation language or 1GL. The main advantage of this language is that it consumes less memory and is processed at a very high speed. Okay, so this is the main advantage of low level language, that it consumes less memory. Okay, next is assembly language. A language similar to English was developed in 1950, which was known as assembly language or symbolic programming language. Okay, so assembly language is similar to English language. Okay, it is a low-level programming language, also called the second-generation language, that is 2GL. An assembly language uses letters and symbols instead of using numbers, zeros and ones. So here, the main difference is in assembly language, here zeros and ones are not used. Instead, letters and symbols are used. Okay. A program written in assembly language uses short sequences of letters called mnemonic codes like ADD or add for addition, CMP for comparison, LDA for loading, and MUL for multiplying. Okay, so these are the mnemonic codes. Okay, high level language. High level language consists of instructions written in the English language. They are formed with the help of variables and arithmetic expressions. These languages are easier to learn and use. High level programming languages simplify complex programming, making it easier to read, write, and maintain. Nowadays, we mostly use high-level programming languages. High-level languages consist of instructions, and these instructions are written in English language. Okay, and these languages are easy. These are easy to learn, easy to use, and also these languages simplify complex programming, which make it easier to read, write, and maintain. Okay, so nowadays we mostly use high-level languages, right? Characteristic of high-level language. Number one, easy to read. The code looks more like regular language, making it easier to understand. Okay. Two, machine independent. They can run on different types of computers. Three, simplified coding. You don't need to manage hardware details like memory. Four, slower than low-level languages. They are slightly slower because the computer has to translate the code into machine language. Okay. So characteristics of high-level languages are, first, these languages are easy to read because here code looks like English language, means regular language, and they can run on different types of computers, means these languages are machine independent. Okay, they can simplify coding, and these are slower comparatively low level languages. Okay, fact boot. The computer language ADA was named after Ada Lovelace in 1975 to honor her contributions of computer science, which estimates ranging from 700 to 9,000. Okay, so the computer language ADA, this name was given after Ada Lovelace. Okay, there are three main categories of high-level languages. Procedural language. A procedural language is a type of programming language that follows a set of instructions step by step to complete a task. It focuses on procedures, also called functions and routines, that tell the computer exactly what to do in a specific order. Okay, so procedural language is a type of language which follows a set of instructions and it follows step by step so that it could complete a task. Okay, key points. Number one, step-by-step instructions. Code runs in a sequence, right? Number two, functions and procedures. Tasks are broken down into smaller parts or procedures. So whatever tasks are there, first they are broken down into smaller parts, right? Number three, reusable code. Procedures can be used multiple times in different parts of the program. Example, COBOL, C, Pascal, and Fortran. Okay. Next, non-procedural language. A non-procedural language is a type of programming language where you describe what you want the program to accomplish rather than providing step-by-step instructions on how to do it. A non-procedural language is also called the fourth generation language, that is 4GL. Okay. So in this type of language, step-by-step instruction is not needed. Okay. And this is also known as 4GL, that is fourth generation language. Key points. Number one, focus on the result. You specify the goal and the system handles the process. Two, less control over how tasks are done. You don't write detailed instructions for each time. So here it is not needed to write instructions, like detailed instructions for every step. Okay. 3. Simplified coding, often easier and shorter to write than procedural languages. Examples: Java, Visual Basics, and SQL. Okay, so these languages are easier to write comparatively procedural languages. Okay. Natural language, the 5th generation language, that is 5GL, refers to programming languages that are designed to be as close as possible to human languages. Okay, so these languages are close to human languages. Okay, so they allow programmers to describe what they want to achieve without defining how to do it, relying heavily on artificial intelligence and logic-based system. So here, what does the programmer do? Okay, so programmers describe what you want to achieve. Okay, the programmer doesn't define how to achieve the goal, okay, or how to do it, right? Key points. Number 1, problem solving focused. You describe the problem and the computer figures out the solution. Okay, means you will tell what the problem is and the computer automatically figure out the solution. 2, AI and logic driven. Often uses AI to make decisions and solve complex problems. 3, as natural language. The syntax is closer to how human speaks, making it easier to describe task. Okay, so actually syntax is closer to human language, right? So it is very easier to describe task. 4, highly abstract. You don't manage details like memory or the exact sequence of instructions. Examples: Prolog, OPSS, Mercury, used in AI and expert systems. Okay. Crisscross time, name the different types of computer languages. Now you can write over here. Okay. Language processors. As you already know, a computer understands only the machine language. Hence, a program written in any other computer language has to be converted into the machine language first. To translate any high-level language program to the machine language, a software is required, and this software is called a language processor or a language translator. Okay. See, we already know that computer only understands machine language. Okay. So, if any program is written in any other computer language, it has to be converted into the machine language first so that computer can understand, right? So, to translate any high-level program to the machine language, what is required? A software is required. Okay. So, this software is known as language processor, or you can say language translator. Okay. So, there are different types of language translators: assembler, interpreter, and compiler. Assembler. Assembler is a program that is used to convert a program written assembly language into machine language. Okay, so the basic function of assembler is to convert assembly language into machine language. Okay, so a program written in assembly language is called an object program or object code, right? Next is interpreter. This translator program is used to convert a high-level language program into machine language. An interpreter translates line by line, executes the instruction, and then repeats the procedure for the remaining instructions. If any errors are found, they must be corrected immediately. Since the converted form is not stored anywhere, so it has to be generated at the time of program execution. Interpreter programs are preferred for beginners but are slower in execution speed. Okay. We need a translator program to convert a high-level language into machine language. So, interpreter translates line by line and simultaneously executes the instructions, and then again repeats the procedure for the remaining instructions. So, if there are any errors, they must be corrected immediately. Okay. So, interpreter programs are preferred for beginners. Okay. Next is compiler. A compiler is a translator program used to convert a high-level language program into machine language. Okay, so the basic function of compiler is to convert a high-level language program into machine language. A compiler translates a whole program at once, okay, generating the object code for the program along with list of errors. Okay, so main advantage of compiler is that it translates whole program at once, okay, and it generates the object code also for the program along with a list of errors. The execution speed of a compiler is faster compared to an interpreter. Now, revision time. A computer language is defined as code or syntax which is used to write programs. Computer languages are classified into two types: low level language and high level language. A low level language is a programming language that deals with the computer's hardware components and constraints. High level programming languages simplify complex programming, making it easier to read, write, and maintain. A language processor is a software that converts a source program into machine level language. An interpreter translates line by line, whereas a compiler translates the whole program at once. Okay, so here comes the end of this chapter, students. I hope you have understood this chapter. Now you will do practice of the exercise of this chapter.